Stuck in pleaser mode. Tales from the underdog leadership trenches. Oh, dear listeners, this one just feels so relevant and something I'm consciously working on. I like being liked. I like people to like me. I like people. And yet, as a leader, I am challenged, and I know that my job is not to be liked. My job is to help bring about important decisions and milestones for the missions and the organizations that I work for. I have an innate understanding, desire, call it what you will, to be a colleague, a friend, to be nice. That four-letter word, nice, right? And that word in the past has really hamstringed me from saying what I mean, from terrible fear of hurting someone's feelings, and really like alienating someone, because I am a person that thrives with relationships. So anytime I say something that potentially frustrates or makes someone mad, okay, that let's not even go with the whole conflict piece, which is triggered by that. But I am hardwired to please. And in that pleasing, I have forgotten the single most important relationship in my life, which is the relationship with me, my own personal relationship with me. I am so quick to please others that I forget to check in with me to ask me what I'd like. So this podcast is all about what to do when you're stuck in pleaser mode. And I want to throw in this second idea of validation. When we're in pleaser mode, we are actively looking for the pats on the head. We're actively looking for the good job, Jenny. We're looking for, wow, Jenny, you're so smart. Wow, Jenny, you say that so well. Wow, Jenny, you are awesome. All that kind of stuff to validate our position on something. And so I want to pick up on one thing. Everybody likes a nice word of encouragement every once in a while. So this isn't a podcast about don't say those things to your employees, but it is a podcast about saying, notice what you're seeking. What is it I'm looking for? And rather than seeking it externally, how can you do that for yourself? How can you be your own cheerleader, right? I wasn't taught to listen to my own podcast and go, oh, good job, Jenny. You are getting better every day at this podcast. No, the way I was taught was, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Oh, there's a big blip there. Oh, Jenny, you said that word twice. You stumbled on that word. Fix that, would you, for the next time? That's that saboteur voice. That is that tough devil in my ear that's always challenging me to get better. I do think he has a purpose, but I can be my best champion in the world. I really, truly believe that. So that idea of validation and seeking validation, not from others, but from ourselves. So that brings me into the context and the content of personal power. For those of you that have been with me a long time, you'll know that you've heard this before. It's not language we use a lot in the executive suites. I wish we used it more. I think the word we substitute for it is the word confidence, which I have a lot of issues with. And you can go and listen to the confidence myth from season 1 to listen to more about my thoughts on that. And that I really feel strongly the word confidence is overused, overthrown around. We are not quite ready in the boardroom to talk about personal power, but it is a thing. Growing up, I loved Wonder Woman, and I think I loved her because she embodied for me what personal power looked like. Do you remember she used to stick her shoulders back and she'd stick her boobs right up there, and she had that family lasso around her waist, and she'd hold her hands on either side. And we know now that's called a power pose. Personal power comes from knowing we have sovereignty over our choices and sovereignty over what happens to us. Let me dive in a little further. Often when people come to me, they talk about wanting to improve their executive presence. They feel like they're not seen, they're not heard at the boardroom table. And the first thing I say to them is, nobody takes away your personal power. You are actually giving it to them. And they don't like to hear that. Who wants to hear that they're part of the problem, right? That they have their fingerprints on the problem. But here's the thing, nobody takes things away from you. You allow them to be taken. So for example, like a lot of my clients will talk about how people will talk over them in a board meeting, right? So we've talked about on this podcast about techniques and tools we can use. Oh, I'm sorry, Bob or Susan, I was actually not done. Can I finish my thought now, right? Or looping it back after you've been interrupted and say, hold that thought. I'm interested to hear what you have to say, Bob, but I'd like to finish my words here. So keeping our confidence, not feeling like we've been the victim of being ignored. I know myself, not being heard is like a huge, huge trigger for me. So making sure that we are being respectful, but still getting our points across. At this point, when we talk about pleaser mode, I want to tell a story. I love stories. Stories are such a great way to explain an analogy, and food for thought. You could also use stories in some of your coaching with your clients or some of your coaching with your staff as well, or board members, right? Because it's rather than teaching, or so I should say, rather than telling, which has a connotation to it, tell a story or an analogy so that you can explain your point about it. There was this lawyer, a woman lawyer. I love the fact that lawyers choose to continue to improve their skills. So she was doing a mock trial. And so in that mock trial, they had a space at the end for feedback, or in my world, I love the idea of feed forward. How can I continue to improve? And when she finished her closing arguments in the mock trial, the feedback she received was, you're way too wishy-washy. You use too many words like, I think, maybe, could I ask this? This may be a silly question, right? And so all these ways that she's couching her responses. And I thought it was so interesting, the feedback, because they said, you are not doing your defense client any service when you add in those words. People are looking to you to have the confidence and the conviction of your client. You are representing your client. And so you must do that in a way that exudes confidence. Oh my gosh, doesn't that relate to being a leader? How you are being looked at for clarity. You are being sought out for, should I be nervous about this? Or my boss thinks I've got this going, right? So we are on scrutiny. We are on display all the time. And when we're stuck in pleaser mode, we want to make everyone happy. I know I do. I'd love a world where everyone gets along, but I'm also mature and savvy and strategic enough that to make good decisions, to lead, I'm going to have to disappoint people. So that lawyer story really exemplifies how we need to be mindful of our language and how we need to make sure that we own and hold our personal power. So things like, Mr. CEO or Mrs. CEO, this may be a silly question, but you are deflecting and deferring. That is such an underdog trait when you say those things to your boss, and you're allowing your personal power to be taken under their wing. I don't think you really need to do that. I think, and I know that you can step into your personal confidence, your personal power, and state your thoughts. Trusting yourself. I have been at the board meeting. Do I say it? Do I not say it? Is this important? Is this relevant? Is this going to deflect? What will people think of me? Oh my gosh, I have the ticker tape, guys. I just want to say, I feel you. But what you feel, what you have to say does matter. It is important. And so finding that pride in yourself and your perspective is part of owning your personal power. So they don't take it away from you, you give it away. And so this is something actually I speak a lot to in my Uplift Leadership program, because at this point, most people in Uplift know how to fundraise, know how to do the mechanics of all these things. But Uplift is about having big elbows, saying the elephant in the room, oh my gosh, getting past the bullshit and actually calling a spade and choosing to decide what to do about it. If you've ever heard my 3 steps to conflict resolution, I love this. Number 1, speak your truth, right? Own your space, own your power. Number 2, Listen like mad to their truth. And finally, number 3, decide together whether we're going to make a choice, a conscious choice to work together to address the problem. Because if you don't have that commitment from both sides, you are not going to be able to move forward. So if you don't believe in yourself 150%, how is anyone else going to believe in you 100%? And so getting clear and getting calm and getting connected to your own personal power is one of the ways to get out of pleaser mode, to get out of the, I hope I can make everyone happy and everyone will be pleased. And if you're someone like me who questions sometimes, is this the place I should contribute to the conversation or not? I have a lot of that, a lot of self-doubt. Is this the moment I should say something, or is this the moment I should shut up and listen? I think all of us go through that. I think that remembering that contributing to the conversation is not the same as being right. I used to have this pathological need to be right, to be the smartest person in the room, to be the fastest person in the room, to be the most efficient person in the room. You just add whatever adjective. God, this is such personal coaching, eh? Me talking to you. Add whatever adjective you need into that list. And I've had it. And I know you've had it too. Getting out of pleaser mode is accepting that you can't make everyone happy. And when you make a commitment to making things better, the conversation will have its own path. But rather than being stuck in a mode, pleaser mode, I might say, you are in a mode committed to conversation, dialogue, and making things better. And you can hold on to your personal power and contribute to the conversation. The need to be liked is real. It is a wave. It is a tsunami. I think it's particularly important and difficult for women to overcome, but I know a lot of men out there that struggle with this as well. If you do not struggle with this, if being liked is not an issue for you, you have no problem making decisions, I would love to hear from you. Can you email me at jenny@chavner.com? Because I think that this is a fascinating discussion and I would love to learn from you. But I know that the people that connect with me, the people that reach out to me, the people that say, Jenny, the way you phrase things makes sense to me. I get you. I know this is a real struggle, but I also know, and of course, this is about underdog leadership. The act of overcoming that is incredibly liberating, freeing, and allows you to expand your personal power, to share your personal power with others. It feels right to close this Stuck in Pleaser Mode podcast with the famous Brené Brown quote. Remember, Brené, the old paradigm was power over. And the new paradigms we're bringing in are power with people, or power to. We abdicate or we share our power with others for the benefit. Power dynamics exist. Being a pleaser is a profile and a behavior that you don't have to subscribe to anymore. I'd love to hear your experiences. I'd love to hear from you. Have you been stuck in pleaser mode, and how have you overcome it? And if you're looking for support, if you're looking for help, I am here. I am your guide. I have podcasts. I have opportunities. I have coaching experiences, anything and everything to support you in your journey of bringing your best self to work and to your home life so that you can be better at what you do, but more importantly, be happier doing it. Make it a great day.